I'm somewhere in the middle, try to find myself again. But life is one big riddle of the future and what's been. Guess it's the way it goes. And I will never.
Hello everyone. Welcome back to the Peak District, which is northwest of England, and it's a beautiful day. Very sunny, not very many clouds in the sky, but there is a nice cool breeze, which is quite important when you've got a great big rucksack on your back. I'm actually travelling quite light today because I've taken a few photos of this area already, so I just wanted to go back on a few areas, a few little places to do a bit more investigating. So what today is really all about, two things: scouting for good compositions to come back at a future date, take a nice photo when the light conditions are a bit better, and secondly, to explore a number of mines in this area. So, without further ado, let's get going.
Look to the left, look to the right, nothing can stop me in the night, like I am leaving all the bad stuff and trying to remain so strong. I know it's good if I'm alone. I got it.
So I mentioned in the introduction that I've been here a few times before taking photographs. Right over there in the distance, I can just lower you down slightly, between the top of this farm wall and the skyline there's a hill which I call Elvis Hill. That's the ancient name for it. Apologies for the wind noise, even with this hopefully very good external microphone. You'll be getting a bit of wind today because it's quite breezy actually. So that's where I went a couple of times up that hill and found some quarries and actually some really nice compositions and photos, particularly just about centre frame now, where you can see some trees on the skyline there. We're going today over there through that wooded area and then across over to those hills in the distance. Let's see what we find. Just walking down to this farm, and you'll probably be able to hear the cacophony of sheep. They're really loud here. I have absolutely no idea why. There's a lot of them and they're quite concentrated in that field just there on the hillside above the farm. But they really are a load of noisy buggers. You can probably see over there in the distance a sycamore tree, and I took a shot of that. Hopefully I'll put it up on the screen as you can see it. It's quite a distance away, as you can see. It's a good fields width away, and then behind it you've got the backdrop of the hill, and that hill is partly in shadow because of clouds at the moment. So you've sort of got half the tree in front of the hill and then the top half of the tree in front of the sky, which is not ideal. Ideally, I would be at a slightly higher ground level, elevated, and that would make an absolutely super shot. But get what you're given sometimes, or just keep looking, and that's what today's all about, just scouting around. You probably won't be able to see, but right on the top of that hill is a stone wall with sheep, obviously using it as a little pathway. Yeah, they're definitely making some noise there. We've got cows and sheep all competing to make the loudest noise. Even the farmer was playing loud music. It's like 1990s Euro pop. No wonder the cattle were complaining. What a track now. It's certainly a track I personally wouldn't bring my car, because it is not very even. This is a proper 4x4 track. It takes us up a hill, but also got some quite nice wooded area which I'm going to explore just to see if there's anything interesting in it, compositionally wise. Really is a glorious day. See these old gnarly oak trees, pretty old as well actually. It's as many of you will know, you know, it's a shame that England used to be absolutely covered in woodland, forests. Much of it was chopped down initially for hunting for the privileged, and then for agriculture. So it's really nice to find these little wooded areas which are the remnants of, you know, pretty ancient forestry of long gone times. That's one of the things I miss, you know. Certainly around in the Peak District, many places you can go which are absolutely glorious, but they're pretty open expanses. And yep, that was me tripping up again. So to get out and find this sort of terrain is really quite nice. Notice there's lots of hills. You might be able to, little mounds, not hills, mounds. And I think they are it's like evidence of the old mining and quarrying that used to take place around this neck of the woods.
Remember I was laughing in all the photos that you took, but now it looks like acting, like we were fiction in a book.
Spotted this absolutely stunning tree. Just watching where I'm stepping. So I'm hoping you can see what I can see, at least the base of this very large beech tree. And if we just go up, try to do this steadily as I can, you see those tree trunks spreading out, stretching out there to the sky. You know, and it's actually surrounded by a wooded area. You see all these other trees here lying in the background. Very peculiar shapes, some of them. The only awkward thing about this particular tree, it's got this little baby one right next to it on the left, which sort of gets in the way. I just see a squirrel in one of the trees just beyond. So, but it's certainly something to come back on, but get the right light conditions, because if I just turn you around over here, as you can see, gives you a fairly good idea of how bright and how harsh those light conditions are, causing really deep contrast between bright skies and the sun and these shaded areas. But we're still enjoying the great weather. The other reason why I'm here, of course, is because there's a little piece of cut wood, and that's going to be my little seat whilst I have a drink and a piece of chocolate.
It's the way it goes, and I will never know why you let me go. Look to the left, look to the right, nothing can stop me in the night, like I'm leaving all the bad stuff.
I guess I may be set in the shade, but with this bright light behind me, it might look quite dark. Chocolate. This is what's left over from my last excursion. I've got a top up on this. If the video that I shot, the audio didn't come through, then dark chocolate, 70% cocoa, always a must. Chocolate. So I'm going to just take a second to get a breather, because I do tend to get a little bit out of breath. So walking up hills, walking down hills, not too bad. Walking down hills, not too bad. It's chocolate. Right. It's always difficult doing this with one hand. There, let's get that white balance sorted. The other thing you can probably just about see, if not me, is that whenever I go out, regardless of coronavirus pandemics, I want to take a bag, and in that bag will be a number of wipes. This is just a paper towel soaked in alcohol hand gel. So it doesn't matter what you put your hands on, put your hands in, you can generally guarantee that you're not going to give yourself any bugs when you start to eat something. Top tip for the day. So on walks like this, where the conditions aren't really going to be great for doing any fantastic photography, which might require me to put a tripod up, or sunset where I need to take a long exposure, or where I want to capture movement, so I might have a longer exposure, slower shutter speed if there's some water feature, which there isn't around here, or if I wanted to catch movement in clouds and there are no clouds. So I'm not going to be using a tripod, didn't even bring one, but what I do have in my bag is I do have a number of filters. So I've got it here, a polarizer which takes reflection off the water, so you get deeper insight into the water, and I've got some what we call neutral density filters here, which basically they're like sunglasses for your camera lens. The camera itself is a Canon 80D, and this is a Sigma standard zoom, which is 17 to 50 millimeters. So it's good for sort of like landscape, reasonably wide angled, and that sort of stuff. It's very good, very sharp, and it's a zoom, so that's useful. It is absolutely no good whatsoever for taking anything at a distance. So that's just not gonna work. So I've got a number of telephoto zoom lenses which are good for shooting further distance. One's a Canon 370 to 300 millimeter, which is absolutely sharp, razor sharp. Other than that, I've got this really cheap one, which is a 55 to 250. Yeah, 55 to 250, which sort of in these conditions is perfectly fine, and very light compared to the other L series 70 to 300. Just no comparison. This does not weigh 2 bags of sugar, basically. Okay, better check my map and see where we're headed next. It's absolutely gorgeous here. It's so nice and cool. Nice and warm and cool. Warm as in warm. I can sit here. Cool as in I'm not burning up.